So I know you saw pictures of the recent wildfire after effects in New York City, or you might have been here literally experiencing it. Now, I do have to say, as someone who was here in New York City the entire time, it was honestly absolutely terrifying. What I saw during that week was absolutely wild, no pun intended, but it really was. The air quality here was declared the worst in the world, and we have the picture proof of it. You could smell smoke every time you walked outside. You could hardly see when you were just walking around outside. It was complete fog, and overall, it was just extremely dangerous. At one point, they said it was like smoking 30 cigarettes in an 8-hour period. Now, people were wearing masks everywhere they went, but what's the deal with air quality on a regular basis here in New York City? Isn't it always pretty bad in New York City? So let me give you a little lesson on air quality in this video. Now, I do have to say, I'm the type of person who is obsessed with air quality on a regular basis. And I know it's kind of odd for a New Yorker to say because cities aren't known for having the cleanest air, but I do really care about air quality. It's something that's really important to me, and I try to be mindful of that on a regular basis. It's hard for any city to have clean air quality, and there's a couple main reasons why that is. So the first is going to be vehicle emissions, and the other is going to be household energy consumption. And think about those two things, it makes sense. There's always a ton of vehicles going in and out of most cities, and there's always a ton of people living in cities, so there's a lot more energy being consumed by people. So at the end of the day, there's just a ton of people here, so there's going to be more energy going through the city. When there's more people, more energy is being used. So this has always been an issue in New York City and really other cities around the world as well. How is air quality measured? It's measured by AQI, which is an air quality index. New York City's level on average is about 45.8. During the original time of the wildfire aftermath here, it got up to 300. 45.8 to 300. That is a crazy difference. But if you take a look at other cities around the world, their average AQI is actually much worse than New York City. Over the past decade, New York City has made huge strides to try to improve the air quality here. So think about it. Transportation is definitely a huge problem here. So many people always coming in and out of the city. So if you track the air quality index on a daily basis here in New York City, probably the only crazy person who does, but if you do that, you can actually see that during top commuting times, the air quality index actually goes up during those times. And then you will see as more people are at their place of work or at school, then the air quality starts to die back down. It's kind of crazy. So what has New York City been doing about that? Well, they've been doing things like adding electric buses. That has been a huge transformation for air quality here in New York City. They've also been adding bike lanes. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's so simple, like bike lanes, that's really gonna make a difference. Honestly, it does. So many people bike here in New York City, myself included. And you might not take me as the biking type, but I bike all the time here in New York City. An increase in bike lanes actually increases the amount of people who are willing to actually try bike riding around New York City because it's safer for them. And an increase in bike lanes actually increases the amount of people who are willing to bike ride around New York City because it's safer for them and they feel more comfortable. I know I do. I feel way more comfortable biking in areas in New York City that have bike lanes versus areas that don't. They're also trying to make the city way more electric vehicle friendly. They have a long way to go, but it really is getting there. And on most days, the average AQI doesn't go above 50. And if it does go above 50, we hardly ever see it going above 75. So if you ever want to track air quality anywhere in the world, not just in New York City, I highly recommend this app called Plume Labs. That is the app that I use to track the air quality every single day. So I have no affiliation with that app whatsoever, no sponsorship, nothing. I just like the app and I use it all the time. So I would love to know in the comments, during the aftermath of the wildfires, did you notice a change in your area's air quality? So as always, I love hearing from you guys in the comments.